Hey, it's Jay, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing my very first monthly setup in my new bullet journal. This is my June plan with me. I usually say get a cup of tea, but I'm feeling summery today. So grab yourself a cup of lemonade and we'll get started. As you may have saw in my last video, I'm now doing the full bullet journal system method in this one notebook from Starbucks. This first spread that I'll be working on is the key. The key is essential to any bullet journal system as it acts as a guide and reference for what your various symbols mean in your planner. My key not only includes the regular bullet journal key, but a legend as well for my drink tracker and my highlight system. For this spread, I decided to play around with some drop shadows. This was the first time I was ever doing them, so I was pretty excited. And I'm going to be sticking to neutral colors as my drink tracker and my highlights both contain a bunch of colors that should bring life to this page. And of course, on a keys page, you have to draw a key. For my bullet journal key, I'm using the original symbols while adding in one of my own. I'm doing these as squares rather than circles as I always end up drawing squares and making checklists, so I'm just sticking with that. The square boxes will be for tasks, and if they're completed, my graded are scheduled, and the star is my representation of priority or important things on my task list. The one symbol I've added to my index is NTS, which is just my notes to self. The next key is my drink tracker. As you've seen in my previous planning videos, I keep track of what I drink in a day by coloring circles that represent a cup. I started doing this in my first year of uni when I became way too caffeine addicted and wanted to cut down on the amount of coffee I was drinking and also see how much water I was drinking in a day. This doesn't really have a specific purpose in my bullet journal, but this is something I do and try to fill out every day. I'm keeping the same legend as I always have, with blue being water, green being tea, and coffee being black. Warning now, I draw a lot of circles in today's video, and they aren't always pretty. Sorry! The final section of my key is my highlighter system. I use this to highlight over important dates, events, or notes. The gray mild liner is for anything that's cancelled, yellow for important things, the pink for events, and green for my paydays. Also, like my previous videos, I will be doing the erasing at the end, and you will see the final look of it all in the flip through. I'm just taking this dark gray mild liner and making the drop shadows. And that's it for the first spread. The next one is my title page for June. I was inspired to do space theme after seeing a few space-inspired spreads on Pinterest, and I wanted to incorporate some summer colors into this. For the word June, I'm coloring in these colors with my color palette, and then letting it dry so that I can write on top of it with white pen. I saw this quote that reads, "Love is the most powerful force in the universe," in a space-themed bullet journal spread, and thought that with June also being Pride Month, this would be a great quote for the title page. For the decorative pieces, I'm just drawing in some planets and stars into the blank areas of this page. I like to add little doodles here and there, but I don't want the decorative elements to take over the page. One of the things I will admit that I'm most excited about in this new bullet journal is the ability to be creative, and I can't wait to learn more design styles and try out some new things. It isn't picking up on camera very well, but to complete the spread, I wrote the word June in the first planet circles that we did once the highlighter was dry enough, and then decided to add some doodles to bring some characteristics to the planets at the top of this spread. Moving on, we have this combined spread of the monthly calendar and my monthly goals. Like many others in the bullet journal planning community, I'm very happy that June starts on a Monday for creating this calendar. For June, and to stick to the space theme, I'm adding stars in between the calendar days and then making each day an individual round rectangle. Now, some of these rectangles aren't the best, but I'm still very happy with how this overall turned out. I also accidentally made an extra day, and I'm still trying to figure out how to decorate or incorporate the square into the rest of the spread. For any important dates that I had in June, I'm just adding them to the bottom of the page and listing them out with the matching color of the day in the calendar. The goals section of this, I've set up like a solar system orbiting around the word goals with my specific goals for the month in the planets. Something I started last month was to add a purpose goal, and I found that it really helped me realign what I was doing that month to my bigger picture. So for the month of June, my purpose of the month is to make wellness a priority. My purpose in May was to reconnect with my body. And so for June, I really want to focus on my soul. That sounds really hippie. I want to not just make my mental health a priority, but my well-being, and nourish myself with things that aren't only good for me, but also things that make me happy. Since the beginning of March, when staying at home became the new normal, I've also been practicing yoga regularly and recently started doing more inversion poses, so I decided to make my monthly challenge to practice my headstand every day. For those of you who know me in real life, you'll know that I don't have the best balance when it comes to things, so I'm proud to have gotten to this point, and I can't wait to see how much I progressed over the month. To reach my monthly purpose of wellness, I decided I also want to try daily journaling and meditation. I've had periods where I'll do either or, but I really want to try sticking to doing both of these and hopefully integrating it into a habit moving forward. To finish the spread off, I'm once again adding some decorative stars and planets to make this solar system complete. The habit tracker spreads is why I gave the warning that I would be drawing a lot of circles. For this spread, I've dedicated one page to my weekly habits, where my game plan is to color in each star every time that I complete a weekly task, and my daily habits will be a similar thing, just instead of coloring in stars, I'll be coloring in planets, aka the circle. I also added this really fun marble-like washi tape that for some reason reminds me of Mars to the bottom of the spread. This is going to take some time to do, so I'm going to speed through this really quickly for you. So my next page is my June budget. This is following the same format that all my budget spreads have, and like all my spreads since stay at home, I've kept it to just one page. One new thing I have added though is a date section, so I can write the date of when I purchased something. If you saw my April plan with me on my budget spread, I tried to highlight the lines in an attempt to make stripes, and I attempted again this time. It didn't really work. I mean, on some parts it did, but on others I couldn't get the exact spacing right. I like the look of having the color divide the lines of my budget, especially because this is blank paper for a third of this notebook, and hopefully I can get it right once July comes around. Random thought as well, is anyone else finding it really hard to believe that we are halfway through the year already? You'll also notice that I left the page beside my budget blank. This is where I plan to put some writing prompts for my daily journaling, but my printer is currently out of ink, and so that page will be left blank for now. Flipping, we have my brain dump spread and my gratitude spread. My brain dump spread I've kept fairly blank and will use it as I need to jot things down. You'll notice that I have a section labeled FTF at the bottom. FTF stands for the future and is a place in my brain dump just to put down things that don't have a certain deadline or date to deal with by, but are things that need to be done in the future. So my sister helped me think of the design for my gratitude spread, so shout out to you, Jazz. As you can see, I did my gratitudes like the moon phases, and per usual, we'll write one thing down per day that I am grateful for every day. Looking back now, something cool to have done is actually drawn the mood phases that are happening in June, but I'm still really happy with how this turned out. I think this is one of my favorite spreads that I've done so far, actually. So, the next few pages are my weekly spreads. I decided to draw out all my weekly spreads in advance for a few reasons. One, I like planning in advance, so having at least the month will help me plan out a bit in the short term. Two, I have never actually done weekly spreads before, as I've used undated planners in the past. So I wanted to try some different weekly layouts to find what works best for me. Finally, I wanted a place for my drink and step trackers to live, and to not have to draw out the circles every day or try to figure out how to fit them into the spread. The general layout of all these weekly spreads is to have a monthly calendar, a section for my weekly top 3 tasks, and then a centralized weekly planning area to put events and upcoming things for the week, as well as my step and drink trackers, and then to have some blank space on the spread to actually bullet journal. The spreads that you'll see here for my weeklies in June are some that I saw online that I thought would work best for my needs and the space that I have in my notebook, as my notebook is significantly smaller than a regular bullet journal. If you have any suggestions for layouts for my weeklies, please leave them in the comments below. The last 2 days of June obviously fall into the same week as the start of July. So what I did here is put both the June and July calendars and then divided the page vertically. I also put too little of my daily planner sections, like my planning in advance, on the June side, because knowing me, I will have my July set up at least 3 days before July starts. Really hoping I don't jinx that, but just in case, I've left blank space on the July side. My last spread for this plan with me is my June reflection, where I tried my best to make the title look like constellations. This will be blank until the start of July, and I'm curious now to see how June will turn out. Here's the flip through of all the bullet journal spreads that we did today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. As always, I hope that you are taking care of yourself and that you are staying safe. I love you to the moon and back, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care. Jay.